Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at Spiel 2012. I'm sitting with Uwe Eckhart.
Hello.
Hello, from Academy Games.
Academy Games, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and our pleasure. And you've brought us 1775 Rebellion.
Yes, that is the second game in the Birth of America series.
Yes.
The first one was 1812, the invasion of Canada. Yes, it did happen, and it turned into such a popular game for us that I then decided to, we decided to come out with the next game,
Right.
1775.
All right, now, why don't you let's start with a few of the basics. How many does this play?
This plays 2 to 4.
Okay.
The original one played 2 to 5, this is 2 to 4, and you play in teams. You have the English forces, which is the British regulars versus, and the British loyalists versus the American regulars and the patriots.
Now, does it play 2-2-4 or 2 or 4?
No, it plays 2 to 4.
All right.
It plays wonderfully, two people head to head, makes it very strategic. When you add that component of having a partner that has the same goals, but they have their individual little things they need to do, it just brings out a beautiful interaction.
Fantastic. All right, why don't you walk us through what to expect on a turn?
I'm going to stick my gum under the table.
Go
I'm
for
sorry.
it.
Now, I did promise people I'd be very nice this year, so. Yeah, no, my wife never saw it. I'm not that dumb. All right, but in 1775, a lot of people have asked us, what is the difference? And 1775 is a very light Euro-style game. It's the only game in my company that my wife loves to play. So we found it's a great Euro game. Euro gamers love to play it, and heavy war gamers really appreciate the strategy. In this game, it is different than in 1812. We have the original 13 colonies, plus the colony or the territory of Maine, which was not a colony yet.
It was not a colony.
It was part, I think, of New York or something like that. And then we have Nova Scotia and Quebec. The factions are trying to vie to gain control of entire colonies. In the first game, we had little objectives. Now you need to control entire colony in order to declare control. What makes it so interesting, in a turn, you start a turn by bringing in reinforcements. And reinforcements can be brought into any city on the board. In the old game, you only had specific spots. But here you can bring it into any city if you control the colony.
Makes sense.
So here, America controls this colony.
Colony of Connecticut.
And Rhode Island,
Yay!
because they're the only ones who have units in each territory. So they could bring into Hartford, into New London, or Newport. They could bring in reinforcements. If they cannot bring in any other city because they do not control them. A standard turn goes as follows. Every player has 3 cards in their hand. And of the cards, they always have to play, let me get a darker colored one. They always have to play a movement card. And a movement card, let me make an easy movement card. A movement card shows a number of armies and how far these armies can move. An army is comprised of any group of units where at least one of your color is in.
Okay.
So let's say I have 1 blue and 5 white. I could take this entire army and move it 2 areas, 1, 2, let's say. Then I could take another army and move it 1, 2. So an army is not individual men, but entire groups of men.
Okay.
That's a movement. Then we have combat. The defender always goes first, and every faction has their own set of dice. You have the loyalists, they were like militia, they weren't very well trained, and they have a bunch of runaways on them. Yeah, run. Whereas the British, the Redcoats, they have 4 hits and 3 blanks.
That's 7 sides.
I'm an engineer, what do you want? So, 3 and 3, so they're 5 sides. So they get to roll first. They roll as many dice as they have units, up to their maximum amount of dice. The British have 2, the militia 3. So we roll 2 yellow, 2 red. They roll. Oh, well, let's not pretend they got all
All
this.
right, yeah.
We got that, yes. They're weighted dice for this presentation. All of a sudden, the yellow, the lawyers all run away. Run away! And we got 2 hits. So now the Americans have to take 2 hits, and they talk amongst themselves who will be taken off. If they cannot decide whose color gets taken off, the rules say the better looking person decides. So we figure that'll take care of all arguments.
Oh, absolutely.
Then it's the Americans' turn. They have 2 blue dice.
Right in front of you?
Here they are. They get 2 blue dice. And even though they have 4 yellow, their maximum number of dice are 3. They would now roll. And they roll 1 runaway, a hit, 2 hits. They beat them. And they have 2 blank spots. A blank spot allows you to decide, do you want to stay there or move into an adjacent, friendly, or empty territory? So they have 1 and 1. They could do 1 white and 1 blue, let's say. Now look, I took over the state of New Jersey.
We
I
declare
control
this
it,
state.
and it's mine now. That is the game. Now the next player goes. We go into the grab bag, randomly pull a dice, the blue one first, of course, and then it's red's turn. We put the red counter down. The red player puts reinforcements into territories owned by the British, and the same procedure happens. It's that game where everybody's yelling, screaming, having a great time, great fun. So the game is...
Yeah, here, you can leave it, man.
The difference between this and 1812 is, thank you very much, and the only difference is in 1812, you got points at the end of the game, whoever had the most single objectives. In this game, you have to control entire colonies, so whoever controls the most colonies.
And given that there's 13, there cannot be a tie.
Well, there are 13 colonies plus Maine, Nova Scotia, and Quebec.
Those count as well. Okay.
You know, in those days, we were striving for those still. So that's why the next game, 1812, we did it out of order. The other difference is that the defender always rolls first. In 1812, it was, if you were in Canada, the Canadians rolled first. In America, the Americans rolled first. And the third difference is you bring reinforcements into any city of a state you control. The strategy, the people who've played 1812 will appreciate this game because it feels totally different. It's a little more chaotic, but the strategies are almost infinite. So hopefully it's going on Kickstarter.
And when you said about a month?
And by the end of the month or first week in November.
All right, so coming up soon.
Coming up soon. So if you're interested, it'll only be available through Kickstarter, not through our webpage.
Oh, all right, Kickstarter.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you for showing us.
Thank you.
1775.
Thank you.